There are levels to this shit, deep divers, but there are also dimensions to this shit. Have you ever woken up, deep divers, one day only to find out you're in a different room, an entirely different bed, and you don't even look the same? Well, that's kind of how it is when you enter a new dimension. You kind of wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, like nothing is the same as it was in the Matrix. It's a pretty awesome feeling, deep divers. Peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. Beautiful deep divers, we are out here in the heart of nature, baby, in Jurassic Park. We're just, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. I'm sending you tons of good ass energy. Take that, take that, take that. Now, deep divers, are you moving to another dimension right about now? How to know, how to tell when you are in the fifth, dimension. We are living in the 3D, but a lot of people are awakening right now on the planet, and they are moving to another dimension we call the fifth dimension. Deep divers, the cat down the road is already there, waiting for you. And we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello? Now, wonderful deep divers, let me share with you what's helped me along my journey. Tell I'm in the fifth dimension. So what is a dimension? We're talking about a measurement of an area or object. We refer to planet Earth as the 3D, the third dimension, physical matter. But there are dimensions beyond the 3D. You got the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, and so on. So you have a 3D cube, then you have a tesseract, which is a fourth dimensional object, and then you have a hypercube, which is a fifth dimensional object. So we have to realize that there are dimensions to this shit. Now, what is the 3D like? We all know what the 3D is like because this is the world we live in. It's dense matter. People are in a rush to get somewhere. I don't know where they're going. They're in a hurry, right? There is fake news. There is GMOs. There is the television which tells lies to your vision. The 3D is always fear-based. But when we move to another dimension, called the fifth dimension, it is love-based. How to tell, deep divers, oh baby, you're in the fifth dimension. You're getting your ass out of the matrix. If you aren't selling your soul to the highest bidder, chances are you are leaving the third dimension and you are entering the fifth dimension. Look, deep divers, we are approaching the age of Aquarius, the information age. And when we realize that the 3D in this matrix, a lot of people will do stuff just for a paycheck because everybody wants to be seen, right? But to tell you are in the fifth dimension, you don't even identify with this physical body. Slow motion this side. You're like, I'm in a different time and space right now because you realize this is the last part of you. These are avatars, deep divers. We are multi-dimensional beings in physical form. And if you can realize that, wait a minute, you are so much more than you have been told, because we have been told a whole pack of lies from childhood, that's how to tell when you're in the fifth dimension. when you are no longer selling your soul. You're no longer at a job just over broke, just to make money. You're only doing what makes you happy 100%. You're only doing something that is honoring your soul, something that is honoring your soul today. I was given offers, deep divers, sign here, Ralph. I'm like, no thanks. I'll rather keep my integrity. How to tell, deep divers, when you're in the fifth dimension, you are being you unapologetically. Like, people say I'm weird. So is the cat down the road, deep divers. But being weird only means you're being yourself. And if you are someone who is not concerned with fitting in to this matrix, that's how to tell when you're in the fifth dimension. When you don't care about fitting in, you don't care about what everybody else cares about in this dimension. Why? Because you're in a different space and time mentally. Like deep divers, I started to realize that the more I was myself, the more I was leaving the 3D. This 3D has you trying to be like someone else. It's got you competing with your neighbor. That's what keeps you trapped in the 3D. But the fifth dimension, there is no competition. Why? Because you are honoring everyone else's uniqueness. You're only in competition with who you were yesterday. Not even that. There is no force. Deep divers, how to tell you're in the fifth dimension. Once again, deep divers, the 3D is fear-based. And that's why every single day you have a new story. Oh my gosh, Ralph, the world is ending. No, in the fifth dimension, there is no world that is ending. Everything is infinite. And because of this, there is no fear like there is in the 3D. In the 3D, everything is about fear. In the fifth dimension, everything is about the love frequency. So to tell when you're in the fifth dimension, if you are someone who is just vibrating on the 528 hertz, which is the love frequency, you have left the 3D. Bye. And you are in a different space and time. Deep divers, how to tell you're in the fifth dimension. You are questioning everything you have been told. You were told his story. Deep divers, his story, it's not yours. Slow motion this side. Everything you have been told, deep divers, is up for questioning. If you are questioning everything in your reality, that's how to tell when you're in the fifth dimension. Because in the fifth dimension, you don't just blindly accept. In the fifth dimension, you realize that you have to use discernment, which is the ability to judge well. You see, I was spoon-fed growing up, so were you, about what the world is, how old this planet is. But deep divers, truth be told, I don't know anything. That's a sign. And that's how to tell when you're in the fifth dimension. Because now you become enlightened. What is enlightenment? Enlightenment is when you realize how much you don't know. Slow motion this side. Like Confucius said, wisdom is knowing the full extent of one's own ignorance. That's enlightenment. So I'm always questioning my reality. Like, who made the rules in this matrix? And so forth and so on. Deep divers, how to tell you're in the fifth dimension. 7-day vegan challenge. You are craving food that will heal your body, mind, and soul. What is the 3D diet like? People only eat for survival. In the fifth dimension, you eat because it's medicine. Nature is so smart, it put the medicine inside of the foods. And you eat to heal yourself. You eat to replenish the energy that's been lost. You eat to have a communion with a universal creator. Because once again, deep divers, food is information. And when you are eating, you are downloading sun information. Shout out to everybody with a whole bunch of grapes in their mouth right now for the 7-day vegan challenge. Deep divers, how to tell you're in the 5th dimension. Oh, baby. If you wake up, deep divers, with this gut instinct, if you have a gut instinct about everything, if your intuition is on point right about now, that's how to tell, deep divers, you're in the 5th dimension. You see, in the 3D, a lot of people are desensitized. In the 5th dimension, everybody is awake. That's why they say stay woke. In other words, you already are aware. That's what consciousness is. It's awareness. You have this awareness that you are so much more than you have been told. And you are aware that nothing is what it seems. You are aware that, like the great Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand and understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And that's what you're doing. Deep divers, how to tell you're in the 5th dimension. Not only do you have this gut instinct about everything, your 3rd eye is open. What is the 3rd eye? The Ajna chakra, meaning you are now a clairvoyant, which is clear sight. You can see things that most people can't see. You also have clairaudience. You can hear things that most people can't hear. And you also have clairsentience. You can feel things that most people can't feel. You have become a super sensitive, luminous, magnificent being, deep divers. That's how to tell when you're in the 5th dimension. Everything is a whole lot lighter. You're having fun. You're doing what makes you happy every single day. You're living your best life. You are unplugging from the matrix. You aren't allowing anybody to dictate who you can become. You know who you are and what you came here to do on the planet. Ain't nobody can tell you nothing. Nobody can tell you nothing, right? How to tell, deep divers, you're in the 5th dimension. If you have this sense of oneness, you see, the ego is a 3-letter word that can destroy a 12-letter word called relationship. In the 3D, it's based on ego. Status, titles, how much money you have, how many followers you have. That's all the ego. In the 5th dimension, there is none of that. Why? Because you start to see the truth that we are all the same. We are all energy. I don't care your skin color. That's all the illusion. It's just light frequencies. So in the 5th dimension, the ego dissolves. In the 5th dimension, there is no concept of race. In the 5th dimension, there aren't even concepts of countries and nationalities and all of this stuff. You start to think that, hey, it's a bit silly we even have passports. In the 5th dimension, time ceases to exist. Slow motion this side. Ever gone outside, deep divers, and just think, gosh, I got all the time in the world? That's because you're in the 5th dimension. This is not a new dance, deep divers. This is not a new dance. No, I'm showing you I don't wear a watch because a watch is a symbol of man-made time, which is the illusion which keeps you trapped in the matrix. So the 3D is all about time. And whenever there is time, there is a beginning and an end. In the 5th dimension, there is no time. There is no man-made time. So what is there, Ralph? There is only movement. There are only cycles, ladies. You know what I'm talking about? There are only cycles and seasons. That's the 5th dimension. In the 5th dimension, you become aware of the power of the moon for regulating the cycles on the planet and governing the seas of planet Earth. You become aware of the sun for sustaining all life on this planet. You hold them in reverence. In the fifth dimension, it is all starting to make sense. Your eyes are wide open. You can start to realize how we got into this mess in the first place because we were lied to. In the fifth dimension, you have a bird's eye view of the third dimension. Slow motion this side. How to tell, deep divers, you're in the fifth dimension. Because, deep divers, time doesn't exist. You are stepping out of linear time. That's how to tell you're in the fifth dimension. Sometimes, deep divers, you may even forget it's your birthday. Why? Because you realize you can't be defined by how old you are. Why? Because you are so much older than you can ever imagine. You are as old as the universe itself because we are all stardust. We are made from the same stuff as the stars. You are now stepping out of linear time. You see, in this 3D, there is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This keeps us in the loop of the matrix, in slavery. In the fifth dimension, you transcend linear time. In other words, there is only the eternal now. The past, present, and the future are all happening simultaneously. Slow motion this side. Deep divers, how to tell when you're in the fifth dimension. You are now attracting your soul tribe to you. And your vibe attracts your tribe. That's how to tell, deep divers, you're in the fifth dimension. If, when you walk around, you're not the only one. You have people around you who are on the same mission as you to help raise the vibrational frequency of the planet. That's how to tell, deep divers, when you're in the fifth dimension. You know I only came here to uplift the vibrational frequency of the planet. You just want to help people. And you are working with other like minds to do the great work. That's how to tell, deep divers, when you're in the fifth dimension. But check this out, deep divers. I say this, the crowd is the matrix, right? You know you're in the fifth dimension, deep divers, when you have an aversion to crowds. When you're like, actually, I'm cool just by myself. You find peace in your own company. Why? Because you are a complete, whole creation. And now you can really start to hear yourself. You can feel yourself. You don't need to do it for the crowd or the audience. You are living for this wonderful earth experience. And you enjoy this alone time because now you can find this happiness in your solitude. You're not afraid of being alone. That's how to tell when you're in the fifth dimension. Because you know you can never ever be alone even if you try, deep divers. We are all connected. How to tell, deep divers, when you're in the fifth dimension. If you are seeing repeating numbers, 1111. I keep seeing 1111, Ralph. I keep seeing 222. I keep seeing 333. That is showing you are in the fifth dimension where everything is aligning to your vibrational frequency. You're starting to realize there are no accidents or coincidences in this universe. Everything is happening in divine order. Slow motion this side. So in the 3D, you saw 1111, but you didn't remember it and it didn't mean anything. If you keep seeing 1111 and you're like, oh my gosh, this means something, that's because you are in the fifth dimension and you realize there is a meaning, a deeper meaning to everything, a deeper meaning to everything. When you are seeing 1111, you are leaving the old world and entering a whole new world where anything is possible. Deep divers, how to tell when you're in the fifth dimension. You are happy. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. You are happy for no reason. You are the light in the room of darkness. That's how to tell when you're in the fifth dimension. You're happy for no reason. You light up the room. But you also realize how beautiful darkness is as well, right? A lot of people who have moved beyond the 3D are in a new state of health, a new state of happiness, a new state of peace. They don't need material possessions to make them happy. They realize their happiness comes from within. They don't need external validation. They realize that the value is internal. So there you have it, deep divers. That's how to tell when you're in the fifth dimension. That's how to tell, deep divers, when you are in the fifth dimension. And once that happens, well, you'll just say, "Feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello?" Beautiful deep divers. We're just, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Shout out to everybody, deep divers, who's been getting the amazing good ass prana shirts at ralphsmart.com/close. Deep divers, if you've got a question for me, add me on Instagram at Infinite Waters. And the model search is on. If you are a sexy ass model, with a lot of heart, add me on Instagram at Infinite Waters. Check out the new book, Deep Divers, for more information like this. Feel Alive by Ralph Smart on Amazon. Have a beautiful day. In the fifth dimension, deep divers. Peace. Infinite Waters, diving deep once again. Stay well. Stay healthy. Peace. And in the fifth dimension, you just start, breathing in that good ass prana, baby.